Smiley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Tuesday, February 1st. So welcome to February. If you haven't checked out February's energy forecast, I'm going to recommend that you do that. We have a beautiful new moon taking place here today. And if you haven't checked out that astro forecast, I'm going to recommend that you do that too. This particular energy is a firehouse energy in order to blast us off into a very powerful month of building. What are we building? Well, first we're building in alignment within ourselves, standing in our power, putting the pieces back together in a much better way in order for us to focus on what it is that we need to build in our physical realms. New routines, new relationships, new ways to make money, to feel safe, to feel secure, to become a little bit more independent. And of course, we have tons of healing to do as we amp up into these numerological portals that February has to offer. So today we are going to have our new moon in Aquarius. It is the dark phase of the moon. The moon is not illuminated in the sky, which means that things are a little bit crazy. Things feel a little bit chaotic. We are definitely highly charged, energetically speaking. That Aquarian energy does rule over the central nervous system, the higher realms of intellect. We can expect the unexpected with this particular Aquarian energy. And if you go ahead and download your moon guide, you'll be able to walk through each of the aspects taking place under this new moon and how to do the shadow work in order to align with what it is that we need to manifest. There are 7 different aspects taking place here today. 7 of them involve the moon. This is going to be a highly, I'm going to say emotional, but I also don't want you to think like emotional crying. I want you to think like emotionally charged, emotionally inspired, emotionally activated, if you will, because the Aquarian energy tends to kind of be emotionally disconnected so that we can channel in higher vision, higher insights, higher intuition from the higher realms. We're acting as the observer. We want to see the bigger picture, the bigger dream in our mind space so that we can start breaking things down into manageable pieces that we actually have control over. This is a powerful day. And of course, the moon and the sun come together to make our new moon very early on in the day, giving us our new moon energy, really kind of illuminating what from the old part of ourself we have to disconnect from in order to embrace the new versions of ourselves that are currently being birthed, currently being born. You'll notice in the moon guide that Saturn and Uranus are both rulers over this Aquarian energy, and Saturn sits very close to this new moon aspect. We have the ruler of karma, Father Time himself, ruling over roles and responsibilities, recognizing the tough love life lessons that we've gone through, where it is that we need to boss up and mature through those life lessons in order to actually move on. What are we moving on to? New ways of doing things, new perspectives on how we see the pain and the struggle that was divinely scripted in our lives. We are essentially moving out of these very tough love life lessons and karmic chapters that we just went through in order to evolve, in order to expand, in order to progressively push ourselves to be the best version of ourselves that we came here to be. The moon is going to semi-square Mars, and of course, Mars ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, even our anger. In Capricorn is a little bit frustrated because he has to go a little bit lower and slower, logical and practical in his movements, in his actions. It's a little bit frustrating for him, but again, the days of flying by the seat of our pants, taking action first and dealing with the consequences later is over. We have to be strategic in what it is that we're focused on, what it is that we're allowing to take place in our mental plane, what it is that we are actually going to exert within ourselves as far as taking action and pursuing our new passions and desires. We have to be a little bit more futuristically focused. We have to take the big picture of our vision and break it down into smaller, more manageable pieces. The moon is going to bump into Neptune, and this is going to make for some very overwhelming thoughts, very chaotic feelings, to the point where we might want to escape our physical realms altogether. This is very much an in your head type of energy. We are definitely disconnected from our physical realms. We are off into la la land, so to speak. But in la la land, we do have a beautiful opportunity to align very strongly with our intuition, to download a new dream, to be inspired with a new creative force in order for us to visualize a new reality in which we are going to set out and actually start pursuing. The moon is going to semi-square Chiron, and this can kind of rip the scabs off of some very vulnerable emotions that we've been having, especially where our egoic identity has been concerned. Many of us recognize now that the dreams that we are conjuring up in our mental plane, that we are trying to align with to bring them into our physical realms, require us to be a different version of ourselves than what it is that we're currently being. The old parts of ourselves were very attached to a lot of the elements that has been stripped away from us. We have lost jobs, we have lost friends, we have lost lovers, we have lost our center point. That does have a huge impact on how it is that we feel about ourselves. It is a very awkward stage to be in, to let parts of the old self go, but yet not stand firmly enough in the new parts to feel stable and secure about our choices. And this is likely going to illuminate where it is that we still have some work to do, what it is that's still alive and well in us, what it is that is asking for our healing, love, and attention. The moon is going to bump into Mercury, who is still retrograde, mind you, for a couple of more days. Definitely check out February's energy forecast to get the lowdown on that. But the moon and Mercury is helping us to act as the observer, to see the bigger, broader picture, the overview of all that has transpired, especially since the middle of December. Let's go back to the solstice energy around the 21st. A lot has happened, especially when we came into the new year. A lot has happened. A lot has shifted. There's been a lot of illuminations. There's been a lot of transformations take place, and a lot of it hasn't made very much sense. But Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, looking back, is using this Aquarian energy, the observer energy, to start making some very serious connections, to connect the dots on why things happen the way that they did. And from that, we gain a huge, big perspective. We have a huge amount of clarity coming in that will alter our understanding of how things went down and absolutely change our direction, our understanding, our perspective on the actions that we have to take to move forward. The moon is going to semi-square Venus, who is just freshly direct. She's still kind of rubbing the sleep out of her eyes. This semi-square is a little bit of a tension point because we're still very disoriented. We've had a lot of realizations. We've had a lot of aha moments as she spent time in the underworld. We know what we need to do in our personal relationships. We know what we need to do in our day-to-day, run-of-the-day routine in order to incorporate more joy, happiness, and pleasure into our realms. We know we have to end the power struggle within ourselves. We know we have to make peace and find harmony. Find the blessings, find the joy in all of the little things in our life, and get back to the bare basics on what it is that we need to strengthen in our relationships and what it is that we need to let go of entirely. So the moon in Aquarius gives us, again, this bigger, broader picture, this overview, this observer type of mentality in order for us to get in check with what it is that we actually want, need, and desire. What is going to make us happy, who is going to make us happy, and what we actually have to do in our physical realms to align to the realizations that are now very alive and well within us.